Welcome back to Elite Dangerous and Distant Worlds 2 Expedition. We are at the 6th waypoint, and we got our 7th waypoint yesterday, actually. I've taken a few days off, and the people I was flying with actually took off without me. Last week, actually, they didn't wait until this week's announcement. They went ahead. They kind of figured out where we were heading, and they went that way. I took a few days off and didn't realize that I was sitting here all by myself. I did not take off with the mass jump like I did last week. I'm just going to mosey on and do my thing. So I've already scheduled our first stop. It's only about 14 jumps from here. And I'm just going to take off, and I'll see you when we get there. Let's get off this planet. It's nighttime, so I have my night vision on.
Landing gear retracted.
Engage Super Cruise.
Engaging cruise.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
All right, now I don't want to fly into that big star, or big planet there, so I'm going to mosey off this way for a second.
Going further out from occupied space to the frontier is known to be very profitable.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Lots of profit. That's always a good thing. So our final destination is the Armstrong Landing, waypoint 7. And it is, what, approximately 5,338 light years. Now, that's a direct line. If I go through the points of interest like I'm doing here, it's actually going to be 9,131 light years. So it's a little bit out of the way to see these points of view, but we'll see. If I get bored, I'll take a straighter route. Stay away from that neutron star. These big ships, they're so wow, a lot of craters. These big ships are so slow, big boats. And we're off.
Frameshift drive charging.
Of course it doesn't.
2, 1.
Our first stop takes us to the Shrogai Nebula cluster, and there are 5 nebulas in this cluster that we're going to be looking at. This is the first one. From there, we're going to take off, and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more sites to stop at after these 5, ending in Sagittarius A. So let's take a look at this first one here, and then we'll move on to the next one. This is the second nebula, and we're looking at this from the sector next door.
Frameshift drive
So this is
charging.
what it looks like from a distance, and then we're going to take a close-up look at it within the system.
Ready to engage. 4,
Vectors.
3, 2, 1.
Key systems are at optimum levels, ready for exit.
Completing system scan. Stand by. Cartography
What a
updated.
star cluster. Now that we're in the system, you'll see that the nebula is system-wide pretty much. It's kind of a greenish blue mixed in with some reddish orange. Look at the star clusters, though. They're so thick in certain areas. And this is the second nebula. We have 3 more to look at. We'll just kind of gaze at this for a little bit, get a good look at it, and then we'll move on. A little more cinematic view here. I'm taking my time with these because it took me a lot of traveling to get here. Altogether, this trip's going to take hours to do. I'm giving you the highlights. So we're put in the next destination, and I found that when you put the destination in, you get a really good look on the map view of what the nebula kind of looks like. I'll show you in a second here. All right, now let's lock into this and set our course, and then I'll zoom in. There you go. And we'll look and see. That's what the nebula looks like there. It's kind of cigar-shaped or clam-shaped, however you want to. All right, let's lock in the course. And we're off to our next site.
Frameshift drive charging.
This is our third site. This is the view from the
Frameshift
neighboring
drive charging.
sector. We're going to jump into the sector that actually has the nebula. To me, you can almost always see the nebula a little better from the neighbor's view.
Jump into next system.
2, 1.
Temperatures are at an acceptable level.
Neutron star.
Scanning.
Let's get a little bit beyond that guy. And again, the color is what we're looking at. This is more of a bluish nebula. Get up a little bit closer to it, and it's almost bluish. Well, it's more green. The blue color was coming from the neutron star. All right, got 2 more. Let's put on our next destination. And then as soon as I get it typed in, I'm having to reach over my HOTAS to type, and it's not very easy to do. More of a reddish orange. Like I say, the map view and the system neighbor system view is usually the best you can get, in my opinion. You get to see the colors and everything when you get up close and personal, but anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Frameshift drive charging.
Adjusting for jump.
2, 1.
This is the neighbor's view. We're going to pop into the system and take a look at the colors. Alright, this is Nebula number 4. Get a little closer look here. So we're looking at the colors of the nebula. Again, notice that certain area of space is densely populated with stars. It is awful pretty, though. Those colors. Alright, now we're going to put in our final destination in this group of nebulas. Reaching over the HOTAS. Not easy to do. I've got several HOTASes on my desktop. Alright, let's take a closer look. That's what the next and final nebula looks like. The final nebula in this group of nebulas. This is the view from the neighboring system. Another neutron star. Quickly getting away from that. Now I am cutting this up a little bit to kind of quicken this, but you notice I am taking my time. And once we get away from the neutron star, you notice that the colors change again from the bluish to the greenish and the orange and red. But like I said, it's taking me a long time to travel between these sites, so I'm taking my time looking at them. And this is the end of that set of nebulas. Now we're heading to a new set. We got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 more stops before the sixth stop is Sagittarius A. But this is the view from the neighboring sector.
Frameshift drive charging.
Adjusting for jump.
2, 1.
Frameshift now engaged. Exit destination confirmed. Arrival in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This nebula is called Galenus.
Scanning for information.
And Galenus, it's a small planetary nebula. Contains a black hole and several gas giants under perpetually green skies of cosmic dust. That's the description. So we'll get in here and get a closer look at it. It is actually kind of a ways away. You can see it there in the center. So we're just going to mosey in there, quietly take a nice look, and then we'll jump to our next destination. I do like that greenish blue. It's more green than blue. Blue's the nebula, but
welcome to stellar cartography.
all right, we're going to jump in and put in our next destination. Zoom in there, and that's what it looks like. It's pretty interesting. It almost looks like 2 glowing globes kind of coming together. At least that's the way it looks to me. Line it up. Give it a jump.
Frameshift drive charging.
Vectors.
Neighboring view. Now, if you look, see what I mean? It looks like 2 glowing globes that are kind of mashing together. That's the way it looks to me. And here's a look from the outside of the ship. It's very interesting. This is the Carulium Luna. I know I didn't do that justice.
Course adjustments.
3, 2, 1.
It's either Carulium or Carillium Luna, depending on how you read it.
Temperatures are at an acceptable level.
And another
Scanning now.
neutron star. So the thing about this is it's a blue planetary nebula with neutron star at its heart. The system contains a variety of worlds, including many landable moons. From the surface of any moon, the sky backdrop is stunningly bright, with the blue eject nebula becoming a bright pink and purplish color due to the brightness of the galactic core. It's called the Sagittarius crater where I'm at, and we're looking at it from a planet view because that's what was recommended. This is the Sagittarius crater, a location from which to relax under the perpetual light from a billion neighboring star systems. Isn't that romantic? The crater was off to the side. I flew over it in actuality. And our next destination coming up. Let's get it typed in here. Where is it? I'm reading it off another monitor, so bear with me here. All right, so this is called the Great Annihilator. Isn't that interesting? This is what we type in to get this destination, the Great Annihilator. A named system. Isn't that sweet? Besides all the weird numbers and letters and designations. This one actually has its own name. Having trouble locking into it here. That's not it. Let's try this again. There we go. The Great Annihilator. Let's set that course before it goes away again. And let's leave this little planet, head back out into space.
Charging
Frameshift
super
drive
boost
charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
All right, we are one system jump off from the Great Annihilator. There really isn't anything to see like the normal nebulas that we've been looking at from the neighbor's point of view. So we're just going to jump right in.
Frameshift drive charging.
All right, now the reason there wasn't anything to see is because it's a black hole, the Great Annihilator black hole.
Engaging exit protocols.
And there it is.
Scanning the entire system. Cartography is updating now.
20th century astronomers discovered a source of intense photons at 511 keV, which was known to be the result of positron-electron annihilation. After study determined that the source was equal to the annihilation events of 10 billion tons per second of positron-electron pairs, it was dubbed the Great Annihilator. The only possible explanation was a large black hole. Recent surveys found that 2 black holes and a set of T Tauri stars in orbit. The primary black hole has almost 200 solar masses and an unusually large radius of 550 kilometers. The secondary black hole has 66 solar masses and a radius around 200 kilometers. The system appears to be located in an unusually dense field of dust, obscuring most nearby stars. So obviously this is the big black hole that we're looking at here. This makes me a little nervous because you really can't see where you're at and you don't know how close you are to that black hole. I was afraid to move. And I think at one point I'm going to move the camera around so that you can kind of see what the black hole does to your vision. It's just freaky. And that's what I meant when I said I was afraid that I was going to fall into that dang thing. So right now I'm looking for a safe way to get away from it. I don't want to go towards it. But because of the vision, the way it interferes with what you're seeing, I was a little bit nervous. Am I out of it yet? Am I still, facing it? At some point here, I'm just going to take a chance and get the hell out. Whoa, now that was freaky. All right, we're heading to our next destination. We have 3 more to look at, including the one we're heading to right at the moment. And of course, the last one will be Sagittarius A. You really wouldn't believe how long I've been traveling to get to these locations. I've been flying through space for a long time. I think I've watched 2-3 movies already. I'm getting cross-eyed looking at all these locations. All right, can I zoom in a little? Okay, that's what we're looking at. It's kind of a purplish ball. Purple and red, or purple and pink, I should say. The next 2 nebulas that we're going to be looking at, the suggestion is that you do look at them from a neighboring sector because it's the best view. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually traveling to a neighboring system to look at them.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one,
Temperatures are at an acceptable level.
Completing system scan for cartography.
We're going to catch a little bit of gas here, a little fuel, a little diesel, a little whatever it is. I don't think it's gas or diesel. But anyway, this is it. This is Zunai Nebula. This is the Zunai Nebula. Nicknamed the Inky Nebula, Zunai is a small purple nebula situated on the near edge of the galactic bar. And again, this is the neighboring location, because once you get in there, it's really, this is, believe me, the best view. So we'll take a little bit of time and look at this, and then we'll head to our next one. One of the things that all pilots struggle with in this game is trying to pronounce some of these locations, these sections of space. Some of them have some pretty wild spelling names. It's just some, very, very difficult. I don't even try, really. Well, I do, but I don't do a very good job of it. So this will be our last look before Sagittarius A. See if we can get this thing locked in, and then we'll take a closer look. Okay, pretty orange. Reddish orange. "30 jumps. I'll see you when I get there." Okay. One more jump. When I got into this jump, it just looked so good, I wanted to stop and take this picture. We're going to go into the next sector, and as the last one we did, we're viewing this from a neighboring sector.
Jump into next system. Hyperspace velocity reached. Safety protocols for exit.
Gathering information, cartography.
Grab a little bit of
updated.
fuel. This is simply called Wolfric. Named the Wolfric Nebula, this is part of the group of close proximity stellar remnants Ejecta Nebula within the Myrisli sector. And I know I didn't pronounce that correctly either. Myrisli sector, I believe it is. This one is very beautiful. I like this one a lot. It's very pretty. All right, let's lock in our final destination. Well, it's not our final destination. It's actually the final sector that we want to look at before we park for the week. Well, actually 3 weeks. We're going to be at this waypoint for about 3 weeks because we're going to be mining for a couple of weeks. It took us a week to get here, or they gave us a week to get here, and then we're going to spend 2 weeks mining. And the amount of things that we mine are going to determine what kind of services the starport that is being put here is going to have for us. Took a little while to plot that one in. Okay, We've got, it's only 14 jumps. So we're going to hit, that is beautiful, isn't it? So we're going to hit the road right about now. And the last jump into Sagittarius A. This is going to be interesting for me. This is my first time to travel to Sagittarius.
Confirming exit point telemetry. Standby.
Scanning.
All right. There it is. The supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy is what this is called. Since modern FSD technology made it possible to travel the extreme depths of space, SAG-A has been visited by hundreds of explorers. Some come here as part of a speed race or a challenge, others to gain the experience, and credits of course, of scanning the most massive stellar body in the galaxy. Some came because their wanderlust drives them ever further from the regions around Sol, and others came as part of one of the many community expeditions that have made their way through this system. SAG-A was first reached by Commander Zulu Romeo in late November 3300, while he was doing a scouting mission for the first great expedition towards the galactic core. At the time, no one expected that it would be possible to reach the galactic core before massive FSD failure would be experienced. But Zulu proved the resilience of modern drive technology by continuing on and on. A later notable event here at the center of the galaxy was the record-breaking meet-up during the Distant Worlds expedition of 3302. So that's pretty exciting. This was my first trip here. Very enjoyable. So I'm going to head, it's only one jump away. It's actually only not even 2 light years away.
Frameshift drive charging.
Our site that we're going to be spending the next couple of weeks at.
Labeling system.
2, 1.
Maximum velocity engaged. All systems check out. No unusual activity.
Completing system scan.
Fuel scooping.
So our 7th waypoint is called Armstrong Landing, and it's just a landing. It's just a planet landing on one of the many planets in the system. So let's see if we can find which one we're going to be on. Take a look at the system map here, and we're supposed to be on. Let's see, what is it? 1B. So 1B. That's 1A. There's 1B. We're going to set that as our destination. And we're looking for geosite number 4. Now, rather than look at it, I've invited Ram Odin, who just signed in, as you see, to come on. He's already landed there. And that's my alternate account. I landed here first with him. He's going to send us a wing invite here pretty quick. And we'll be able to lock onto him and head right to where we need to be. So let's just sit here and wait for a wing. And there it is. So we're going to go ahead and accept that. And then let's go up and put our wing beacon on. He will put his wing beacon on, and we'll meet him on the planet side. There is his signal. What a trip. We're coming in hot. Not really.
Orbital flight engaged.
This was more of a lonely trip than before. I did not get on Discord at all. I just traveled here solo on my own. So I had no company except for Netflix and some Witcher books that I'm listening to on Audible. But that was kind of refreshing as well. Put a couple of boosts in here, get down a little quicker. Kind of a mountainous area, isn't it? Might have a little bit of fun here. There's Ram sitting on that top of that flat area there. The geological site is right below in that canyon, right underneath my ship right now. There's geysers and such. I see that there's another ship around here somewhere. There he is. He's just taken off, looks like. In the distance there.
Landing gear deployed.
Ram sitting there in his brightly colored crate, named the Egg Crate. Might have to change that name. By the time this trip is over, it'll be the Scrambled Egg Crate.
All stop.
And we're down. And we're going to have to make this home because we're going to be here for a couple weeks now.